I'm here with Melanie Haynes. Melanie, we've known each other for a long time. You were a part of the church I started here up in Vistancia, 15 years ago.
Yeah.
We've been in this series on Esther, and one of the things we've been saying out of the series of Esther is that God providentially puts us in places in unique moments for reasons that we may not fully understand, but God is sovereignly working behind it all. And you wrote me this past week and said, Pastor, I was listening Saturday and it just reminded me of an experience in my life.
It was 2005, and I was shopping for a cell phone. We were starting a business, and I needed a cell phone to do some work, and so went in and talked to a young lady at a booth, and she was very helpful. I left the store and loaded the kids into the car. She came running after me, and she said, oh, hey, I forgot to give you my business card. We work on commission, and I'd really appreciate it if you would ask for me when you come back. I said, oh, sure, no problem. So as she handed me her card, I glanced down on it, and I realized that she was my second cousin.
Wow.
And obviously we weren't super close, or we would have recognized each other. And so I looked at her and I said, you don't know who I am, do you? And she said, well, you're the lady buying the cell phone. And I said, well, actually, your dad is my cousin. We kind of reminisced for a minute, and she said, I got to get back to work. And then she turned to go back into the building, and I finished putting the kids in the car. And as I was about ready to sit in the driver's seat, I happened to just glance up, and I noticed that she was laying in the middle of the street, and she was in a pool of blood. I didn't hear an accident, nothing. So I ran over to her, and I said, what in the world could have possibly happened? I said, did a car hit you, or, did you fall? And she said, no, but if I tell you, you can't tell my dad. And I said, well, okay. And she said, I'm pregnant, and I think I'm losing the baby. I scooped her up and I said, well, we got to get you to the hospital. You're losing too much blood. And she said to me, she says, yeah, don't bother. I'm going to get an abortion anyway, so this is just a cheaper way out of it. And just the word pierced my heart. And I said, well, I still got to get you to the hospital because you're losing a lot of blood. And so when we were at the hospital, it was just me and her. And so this girl who didn't know me 2 hours ago now wouldn't let me out of her sight. She wanted me right next to her. And I kind of came up with a plan that I would take her to dinner. And I said, if I can take you to dinner, I'll pay for it. And she said, okay. And so we went to dinner. And at dinner, I said, I have a deal for you. If you will go with me to the Crisis Pregnancy Center and learn about all that an abortion entails, what that does to your body, what the recovery is like, and everything else, and you still decide after that you do want to go through with abortion, then I will drive you to your appointment. I will take care of you. I will nurse you back to health. I'll take care. She had already had a little boy who was 2 at the time. I said, I'll take care of him for you, and I will keep your secret. I won't tell anybody, and we'll just kind of go on from there. And so she said, okay, that was kind of an offer she couldn't refuse.
So good news. She takes you up on the advice. She goes there. She decides not to have an abortion. She decides to keep her baby.
Yeah.
And God's put you right there in that spot for just a time as this to help this story end like in an amazing way. But the good news is that phone call you made in a hospital to a guy who didn't even know he had a kid ended up providing a really safe place for this child. It's being raised there in a Christian home today.
Yeah.
And wow, just the casual things that we hear, the casual places that God puts us in, can become really important points of ministry in life, can't they?
Yeah. There were so many things that day that, I just thought I was just looking for a cell phone, and anybody else could have helped me in that booth. God had his hand in every part of that, and it's like I take no credit for anything in that. I just was amazed how God worked. The day before, I prayed and I said, use me however you see fit for your kingdom, and however that is. And that's kind of a scary prayer, because you're kind of opening yourself up to have faith that however he sees you to be used. And I had no idea that that's how he would use me that day.